So there's some things I'd like to make light of, and I'm pretty sure that I've made light of some of these things prior. First and foremost, I do not consent to malevolence being on my channel or listening to my recordings. In addition to that, I'm only speaking to true, benevolent beings who do not hold me ill intent. Okay, and I do apologize in advance for repetition. I do work on it. However, due to the remote neural monitoring and the voice-to-skull technology that's being forced on me, and especially has been over the last 10 years, it seems to me that I inadvertently repeat things more than once. Part of that has to do with me feeling that I've made the point with the appropriate energy. And because there is interference in my chakra system with my emotional body, I think is the reason why that I repeat myself. So I do apologize for that. I've already done this recording once. I'm going to try to do so again and make it much shorter. So one of the things I thought important to mention is that because there is a frequency fence around this planet or this place, whatever it is, because at this point, I personally don't care if it's a planet with whether it's a planet or a landmass, a flat plane with a dome over it. At this point, to me, that's it's not as important as some other things that we need to be paying attention to. I don't give any fucks. I don't have time to be worrying about that. What it is this is a place that's been a place of rape and torture and energetic harvesting, all forced. Harvesting of humans, and it needs to fucking stop. So, regardless of whichever one it is, things must be corrected. So the frequency fence is an actual frequency overlay. The true organic energetic field is still present, is still there. However, they rely heavily on the artificial frequency fence to force the artificial frequency overlay on top of it. In addition to also many other different things that they're using to inject falseness, lies, cons, and deceptions into the true organic energetic field as well. So because there's so much false, inorganic, artificial frequencies overlaid and being injected into the true organic energetic field, I just wanted to mention how important it is to make sure that no matter what kind of nastiness that you're going through, being forced to go through or having forced on you, please always do your best to try and remember that the inorganic artificial overlay is false. The forced nasty emotion, because I have felt the true energetic field, and it's not very often that I do because of the technology they have forcibly connected to me. But when I do, I don't have fear. I don't have fear anyway. What it is they're forcing their fear, they're trying to force their fear into my emotional body and onto my frequencies or onto my because they rate frequencies, but they're trying to force those into my emotional body. And I know very well that's not, I've already worked through the majority of my stuff. So, and I didn't have fear when all the shit started. So it's their fear. And I know it's their fear. And I spend all my time trying to keep them out of my emotional body and off my frequencies. So it's important to remember that the overlay is false. We need to be doing what we can, whether that's tools that you're utilizing, whether that's different experiences you're trying to have that allow you to access more of the true organic energetic field. Please try to do that. And you'll just fare much better, and you'll have a better time of protecting yourself as you keep that in mind, as you remember that. Okay. I'm sorry, just one moment, please. Now, refusing consent. So, as I mentioned in the last recording, that these are parasites, demons, entities, whatever it is that you want to call them. Number one, they shouldn't be in manifested creation. And especially, most importantly, they should not be forcibly using technology to hack into beings, attach to them or connect to them, and then pretend that they're judge, jury, and executioner. That should not be a thing. That should not be occurring. So as you move forward, no matter what you think your transgressions are, really all you have to do is remember that those bitches are responsible for annihilating, that they have annihilated like entire civilizations, destroyed entire planets. So no matter what you think you did in your past, or whatever transgressions you think you've got, or whatever things that within yourself that you have not reconciled, that you either feel are weaknesses or transgressions or what have you, just all you have to do is remember what they've done, and that they shouldn't be here. And most especially, they shouldn't be forcibly connected to you via technology. That's inorganic and artificial and shouldn't be going on. And that they have no business even beginning to even think about trying to judge you for anything. And that they've been doing this many millennia. And in just about every civilization, they bring out the tech to try and, towards the end of a civilization's evolution climax, they bring out the tech, they try to fucking scramble everybody via frequencies. So the frequency scramble, the frequency fuckery, and the recycling together are what their intent is, to try and scramble beings so much that they do not remember the original trauma. So, just remembering their massive crimes in this universe, that they are in violation of all universal laws. That my point in stating that is that it is important that when you are refusing consent, that you are, please know that you are fully justified with every cell, fiber, and molecule of your being that you are fully justified in refusing consent for all that they force, their connection to you, the forced technology, the forced emotions, whatever it is that they're forcing on you, refusing consent and being fully justified is the energy and the frequency that needs to be present within you, that you need to be holding, that you need to be radiating outward with every cell, fiber, and molecule of your being. Because even though they most often ignore the revocation of consent, if more and more true benevolent beings are doing that, refusing consent, and doing it in a justified frequency and vibration, then it becomes much, much harder for them to continue doing what they're doing. And also to remember that pretty much everything being forced on you, or everything, I'm not saying all issues, because we all have our own internal work that needs to be done, but what I'm saying is for humanity for a very long time, these bitches have been using technology to basically try and do a swap, right? They force all their guilt and their shame and their nasty, and then try and rape you of all your benevolence. So most of what they're forcing on you is not yours to begin with. Yeah, it is important to know your being very well, and to take stock of what it is that you need to heal, and things like that, but also keep in mind that most of the forced trauma is not yours to begin with. It's forced and induced, which means it's not yours. It means that you are justified and have every right to be releasing all forced, induced trauma, harm, pain, and fear back to their originating sources, and pulling back all that's yours, your high frequency vibrations, your high emotions, your full neurological healing, devoid of all regressions. I'll also be returning all regressions too. So returning all forced and induced trauma, fear, harm, pain, regressions, magic, devoid of all harm to you and devoid of anything raped from you. And be feeling, it's the frequency and vibration of being, that feeling of being justified in refusing your consent, because they shouldn't be here, because they shouldn't be here forcibly hacking into beings via technology. Because whatever's outside of here is fucked up in allowing parasites to be in manifested creation. You are fully justified in refusing consent to any entity trying to make you the scapegoat, trying to force you to take on something that's not yours. And that's the energy and frequencies we need to be operating, trying to also hold and be operating out of at this time, in order to help us get them off of us, to help us get their technology off of us. And that you are able, see, a lot of this has to do with belief. So if you are truly feeling that frequency and vibration, then you should be able to truly believe that those things will automatically be released from you and go back to their originating sources. And when you go to call back or take back all that has been raped from you, it automatically comes back to you, because they had never had your consent to take it or rape it or harm you to get it. They never had your consent. And in addition to that, they never did informed consent. And for the fact that they're obstructing and regressing universal laws. Like, you're fully justified in sending all their shit back and taking back all your stuff without any kind of sabotage or fuckery or harm to you. So fully believe. Now, what I'm saying to you is, at the same time, they continue to try and force. And I hate to say that at the end of the other thing that I just stated. What this is we have to, because of the artificial frequency overlay over the organic energetic field, we basically have to be self-initiating. We have to be like creating our own emotions, when normally we would be naturally, organically receiving those from the organic field. But since there's an overlay of artificial nastiness, we have to try really, really hard and be really focused and intent on creating the emotions that we want to feel. And doing our best to hold the thoughts that we want to hold. And it's always important to be going back to, if you're remembering, trying to remember times when you've had a lot of spiritual growth, epiphanies, experienced a lot of high frequency vibrations, to be remembering those, to always bring you back to yourself, bring you back to your true frequencies and vibrations, and trying to bring you back to your center. Because this whole place is encased in an artificial, inorganic frequency overlay. So we have to do what we can to help ourselves and find tools to help us, find experiences that help you, to help us to come back to our true frequency vibrations, into our true center. And that remembering that overlay, the false inorganic overlay, is false. It's all their nasty. It's their bullshit. It's their lies, cons, and deceit. That's what it is. It's the false overlay, frequency overlay, is their lies, cons, and deceit. And what we're striving to do is feel the true organic, energetic field. So that is one of the main things that we need to be focused on doing right now. I've mentioned before that it's important to be working out of as much as you can, out of your highest capacities, out of your highest selves, in order to be accessing either what is outside of here. Because we need true benevolent assistance in a bigger form. And to be accessing also the universal laws directly. So be using your gift, skills, and abilities the best that you can in your higher faculties and your higher selves, to be accessing those things outside of here, to be trying to access the truth. We need to be trying to access the actual truth of what's outside of here, so we can better determine how to get ourselves out of this mess, out of this parasitic form. I think anything put out for public consumption at this point is suspect, and especially as they're talking about 5D, and because they have artificial realities that are connected to astral realms, when you're hearing anything about 5D, your first question should be, is it the real organic 5D or is it their artificial 5D hell? Right? Because the entities, all of these other supposedly benevolent groups, especially that are, I guess, some have said that there are some around this planet in ships or whatever. Again, I don't know that I believe that. What I'm saying is other groups and races that supposedly claim to be helping humanity, as the reptilian species is usually using technology to forcibly obstruct and regress universal laws and universal law correction, as well as has been forcibly regressing humanity in a continuous fashion in order to rape from them. I would say, because that affects everybody in the universe, number one, it destroys the balance in the universe. And number two, at some point, it would start affecting other star systems, planets, races, realities. In doing that, then their first priority should be getting the frequency fence turned off, and deactivating or destroying the technology that they are using to regress, and especially time loop, any kind of technology where time is involved, because that also fucks shit up. So if their first intent is not to take care of that technology and to stop the reptilians from hacking into beings with frequency weaponry, if they're not doing anything about either one of those, then they're suspect. And they need to be questioned. I mean, the thing is it's very, you have to think of how hard it is to be trying to evolve in a forced, enclosed system of artificial, inorganic, malevolent frequencies being injected into and overlaid on the organic energetic field. And that they're doing that to either hide the truth, cover it up, trying to alter it, trying to manipulate, trying to get beings to believe the lie, con, and deception. Whatever lie, con, and deception they're trying to interject or overlay over the organic energetic field. They're trying to get you all to believe that, when that is not the truth. Because they're trying to rape, because this universe is at the end of a very large cycle, because the stakes are high, because they're trying to rape, to steal all the chips, because their hand is shit. They're bluffing. Their hand is false. So we need to be doing our best to intuit, access, reach the true organic, energetic field, and whatever is outside of this place, as well as reaching true universal laws. That needs to be pretty much number one focus right now. And taking back all of your stuff out of all technologies, astral realms, clones, artificial realities, and the artificial frequency fence. Pulling all your stuff out of it. This place needs to implode, and I'm not talking about anything organic, the plants, the animals, the water, anything organic. I'm not talking. What I'm talking about is the inverted time loop matrix that has been forcibly installed on this planet and or in this place. It needs to implode. It's an abomination. And that's how they have raped many civilizations of their due evolution. They continue to recycle. They continue to forcibly fracture and fragment beings against their revocation of their consent, without their knowledge, without informed consent. That's got to stop. The obstruction and regression of universal laws and universal law correction must stop. who is allowing that, right? Whether it's an insane energy running and operating this universe, which clearly he's fired, right? He's fired. He's all done. He can't do his job. He's fucked. He's whacked in the head. And he's trying to basically, he's gone postal, right? He's trying to murder everybody in the joint. Or it's a totally kind of similar, a loose analogy would be like an empty playground, or just like a playground, a place in where beings emerge here, and somehow parasites have gotten in here. And that shit needs to be corrected fucking immediately. So, whether it's an insane energy running and operating the universe, clearly it's up to us to be taking action and to doing the best that we can to reach universal laws, get this time loop matrix imploded, and get the fuck out of here. Or if we can get the time loop matrix imploded, then we can just kind of, then the malevolence will be gone, and then we can move forward and make it how, and have it be a benevolent creation. So it's up to us to take action the best that we can. And if isn't any kind of an awareness or intelligence or consciousness running and operating this universe, it is still, most especially, up to us to be taking action and to be correcting things and to be regulating here. Most especially up to us. Now, all those benevolent races sit around and there were channel messages saying you have to do this and that and the other thing. And again, I would say, well, look, I would say being forcibly, having a forced, artificial, inorganic frequency fence and overlay onto the organic, energetic field of this place, it's real challenging to try and get a lot done. It is, especially when you're talking about evolution. And all the things that, all the processes that go on with evolution. Like if they're not recognizing that fact, and they're not assisting to help deactivate and take out the technology that's doing that, that's being forced here, as well as the technology they're using to forcibly obstruct and regress universal law and universal law correction, obviously they are suspect. Obviously they have a different agenda, a different goal. Obviously they're here to eat. They're not here to help, they're here to eat. So if they're not assisting with those things, again, you really need to distance yourself from that group until you can get some definitive, logical, articulate answers. And make sure that you're not giving your consent to whatever group that is for anything. You better find out what their true goal is, what their true intent is, before you start agreeing to work with them or continue working with them. Asking the hard, logical, critical questions. Don't allow them to make you feel bad or small or demeaned or any kind of those, how they, sometimes there's like mocking involved or patronization or expecting you to be on your knees in reverence. No, that is not a requirement. They have not proven themselves. They have not assisted here. There's been a lot of fucking word vomit. A lot of hopium. A lot of lip service, but no actual evidence, physical manifested help in this place. So make sure you're doing what you can to determine true intent and protect yourselves. Okay, let's see where I was at. That I think maybe I already mentioned it, that they do the recycling and the frequency weaponry in almost every civilization. They're trying to further fracture and fragment beings and to obstruct them from remembering the true trauma, the true original, the original trauma. Let's see, I think I mentioned that possibly though. As far as the creator goes, you know, maybe there are those out there that do think that you're communicating with the true benevolent creator. I did at one point as well. I thought that I was actually reaching the true benevolent creator, and that turned out to be one of the angelics running around pretending to be the creator. And considering that entity has access to frequencies and vibrations of the true creator, that's fucking disturbing. That is very concerning to me. Because that entity originally connected to my heart chakra. Directly when I was at that juncture, believing that I was communicating with the true benevolent creator himself. And what that was is that entity inducing the creator's frequencies and vibrations in order to connect with my heart chakra. It was when I started questioning, when I started seeing red flags and I started questioning, that all of a sudden that entity disconnected from my heart chakra. Because it started to realize that there's an energetic, that entity is inducing, but that entity is also, because that entity is doing it, and in still some fashion also connected via the technology to my heart chakra at that point, at that juncture, that there was still going to be an energetic signature to what was being forced or done. So that entity disconnected. And if I go back, even though that entity was somewhat once removed from the initial emotions and frequencies that were being induced, there should still, at this juncture, there should still be a record of the energetic signature of that entity. And I have not been in a place where I'm able to, number one, take the time, but number two, to be trying to, there's a lot of fuckery going on. I'll just say that, a lot of frequency fuckery. And it's very difficult. It is. And they're forcing so much fuckery that it's like there's a barrage of things being thrown at me and forced on me that I'm having to deal with, unfortunately. Okay, so anyway, moving forward. I think those were the things that I wanted to mention. And just remember that anything they're trying to force on you, all you have to do is remember what they've been doing to many civilizations, planets, and star systems, and that they shouldn't even be here, and that they're actually, forcibly regressing, obstructing universal laws and universal law correction. So just know that you are fully and completely justified in refusing consent and taking all your stuff back without harm to you, without devoid of all fear, devoid of all sabotage or fuckery, devoid of all obstruction. So just know that and move forward in that frequency and vibration and energy the best that you can. Love and trust and know yourselves. And always do your best to have patience with yourself and compassion for yourself. Be forgiving of yourself. Know that much has been forced on you that is not yours, and it is okay to release all of that without harm to you. So it can go back to the originating source that did force it. And know that, always remember that you are a powerful being, and that it should be the true benevolent humans that should be in those higher frequencies at this juncture, that they've hijacked. Seemingly, I'll word it this way, they've seemingly hijacked higher dimensions, especially with the things that they're forcibly doing with technology and the fact that there has not been correction. For this long, when there's entities obstructing and regressing universal laws and universal law correction. Like, there should be a larger true benevolent force that intervened and corrected that and yanked those horrors out of manifested creation. And because that has not occurred as of yet, we need to be doing our best to take action, to find out what occurred there, doing your best to access true Akashic records, find out, try and do what you can to find out whatever truth that you can about what has occurred, what's gone on here, what is outside of this place. And we need to be correcting these things at this time and trying to get ourselves out of here, trying to implode or collapse the inverted time loop matrix, and or trying to get ourselves totally off of this planet and figuring out what's going on with the universe and why there hasn't been true benevolent correction. So do the best that you can. Okay, until next time.